You're listening to the OMG hour.
Here we are. We are live once again on YouTube with episode number 201.
Or 23.
I got it is not episode 23. It is episode 201. I got it right this time. You know, when we go live for the first time ever, my mind was just screwy. So, introduce yourself, Mr. Second Place.
Hi, Tycko, Mr. Second Place.
We have
Here.
somebody's missing. What's going on?
Yeah, the guy didn't want to learn all of the fun stuff that we saw. So.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so Jeff is like super busy at work this week, doing overtime. He's such a diligent worker. I mean, come on, what's more important, work or games? I vote for gaming.
I also vote for gaming, but I mean, that wouldn't be, that's not really even a close contest.
Yeah, well, so how has your week been, Tycko? Did you do anything special this week?
I didn't play much games at home. Well, actually, you know what? I played a lot of daily crossword this week. That's pretty much it.
Well, we both played daily crossword.
Yeah, well, it got to be a thing.
And who wins all the time?
At daily crossword?
Yes.
It's about even.
Is it? Is it really?
If you go back in some of the old ones that I went back in to do, then yes, it's about, you're ahead. Fine. You're ahead.
You beat me last night. I will say you beat me last night.
Yes.
In our daily crossword.
I beat you at several other things this past week as well. I think I had a pretty good win percentage against you.
You beat me at almost every game we played.
Yeah.
So, of course, we were at PAX East. So, you know what? We are going to jump straight into what we did at PAX East. For those of you who were watching the live stream, well, it wasn't really live this week. We did some streams each day at PAX East, so you can go back, check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah, day in review.
Yeah, every day we did a day in review of what we had seen, what we liked, and threw in some videos as well. Today we're going to try to cover a couple of things we didn't cover in those day in reviews, as well as some stuff that we really liked, because there were some very impressive things we saw. But you know what? Before we jump in, Tycko, this was your first year at PAX.
It was.
I kind of like to know how do you feel about it now versus what you expected it to be before going?
It honestly, my expectations were it was about on par with my expectations. I had a decent idea of what it was going to be. There were a lot more indies than I thought there were going to be. In my head, I don't know why, I just had pictured a whole bunch of giant booths like Microsoft's and Sony's. So a lot more smaller booths, which I actually preferred seeing the indies than those big things.
And that is actually a bit different from when I first started going. So I've been going to every PAX East since 2010.
Yeah.
And so this was my 7th year going, and it has changed to be much more like an indie gathering than it has in the past. There used to be huge like AAA titles. Ubisoft wasn't there again this year, and I think that's the second year in a row now that Ubisoft wasn't even there.
Yeah, like there were a lot of big booths. There were a lot Overwatch, Battleborn, Lawbreakers, Sony, Microsoft. They had huge footprints there.
They did,
and those lines were ridiculous. Those lines were ridiculous.
Oh, yes, people lining up for 2 hours to play games.
Yeah.
For like less than 5 minutes.
For which, and some of the most ridiculous things, for games that were currently in beta.
Yeah.
On their home consoles.
Yes, yeah. Lining up to play like Gears of War 4 multiplayer beta. Which I will never understand. So let's talk about some of the stuff we saw.
Sure.
I think one of the things I went in actually really looking forward to playing is a game called 7. And this game actually really impressed me. This is by ex-developers of Witcher 3.
Yeah, CD Projekt Red,
ex-developers, yeah. So, but this is right now it's in very early build. They have literally just started this game. But what we played, wow.
I want it now, to be honest with you. With what we saw, I mean, it looks very polished. I mean, if you were to look at this, you would think this thing is close to ready to go. To be honest with you.
Yeah, so it's a top-down isometric RPG,
Yeah.
action RPG, with like lots of quests, lots of things to do. And one of the elements that they wanted to put into the game, which they have done successfully, is the Assassin's Creed parkour thing.
Yeah.
Right? Being able to climb up buildings, go along ledges like you would in Assassin's Creed, but also being able to do stealth, like get into a bush and go stealthily and go up behind someone and kill them.
Yeah.
So, if you want to play stealth, you can. If you just want to play hand-to-hand combat or direct battle, you can. And it played really well. I was really impressed by this game.
Yeah, like I said, I would love a copy of this now to play.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things the developer asked us to do was kind of go to the edge of one of the levels and look down.
Yeah.
And what they've done is they've built this each of the level, like one level on top of another.
Yeah.
So that when you are at the top of a level and you look down and over, you see where you've come from. Right?
Yeah.
You can actually look
you
down.
You can get everywhere. If you can see it, you can get there.
If you can see it, you can get there. And you look down, you can see the NPCs walking around. I know some other games where if you can see it, you can go there. But when you look into the distance, you don't see the
draw
creatures
distance
or
is
the
not there yet.
Yeah, the people. Whereas this, when you do look down in it, you see all the people walking around. And that was really impressive. There is no release date on this yet. I mean, I wish I knew when this was coming. It was so good.
Yeah, there's a few of the titles that we saw that looked very polished for stuff that they said we're really just at the beginning with this, and it's not going to be ready yet.
Yeah, I mean, what was the other one they said that about? Hob.
Hob was another one that they said exactly that. It looked absolutely beautiful. The level that we played through, absolutely gorgeous. Played smooth, completely smooth. And yeah, there's we're not ready to talk anywhere close to release date. Where this is just a very early.
Yeah, I mean,
look at this.
They showed us a demo, and it was a start and a finish to the demo. Mm-hmm. Right, so it was they must have worked very hard on making this demo polished.
On that part. Right. But I was impressed with it.
Oh, very.
And Hob is the guys who did the Torchlight series.
Torchlight, yeah, Runic Games. They've done Torchlight 1 and 2. Really impressed with Hob, but just going back to 7, The Days Long Gone. I mean, what a great looking RPG, and it goes back to original style RPGs. You know what I mean? Like it was just it looks amazing. It plays really smooth. I can't say enough about this game, and I was really impressed with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and PC and consoles coming too. So
yeah.
Looking forward to trying that. I mean, it'll be PC first, as everything is, but
yes, of course. But
most of the indies are usually we see PC first. So
they might launch it simultaneously. I don't know if they said what they were going to.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we have no idea where they're going to be yet.
No.
I really want to play this with the controller on my console.
Well, we were playing it with the controller.
Yes.
So. I'm really, man. I
can barely run this podcast, so let's put. That's why I want it on the console.
Yeah, exactly. What else did you see that you really liked at PAX?
Let's see. Shadow Tactics.
Oh man, another great game that really harkens back to Assassin's Creed.
And I love the art style of this game. Like just looking at the art style, what they had, just the posters they had around, looked absolutely gorgeous. But then when you started playing through it, and the gameplay is in that same art style.
Yes, yeah.
A big fan of that. Just looks pretty, and then the actual style. Again, this is another one that Sean will love because of it's a stealth.
This is 100% stealth.
Yeah, 100% stealth game.
And this way you take control of multiple characters at the same time.
Yeah,
which is very cool. And you can, with Shadow Tactics, you can basically do what they call shadow moves, and you tell your character what to do. You play out the move, and it kind of saves that. And then you go to the next character. You play out the move you want them to do.
Yeah.
And then you tell them at what point to execute that move.
Yeah.
And once you execute it, they both do that thing simultaneously.
Yeah, and that's how you take down two enemies at the same time with your two characters.
Exactly. Or you can take one character individually and move them over to interact with a character to distract them, and then switch to the other character to get around them while that guard is distracted, for example. Yeah, so very much again like an Assassin's Creed stealth, isometric top down. Wow, we really like the isometric stuff now.
I do like that Diablo look to it. I enjoy that. I enjoy those sort of games. You can see where everything is. You don't have to. You're not surprised by anything. I like those type of games.
It's a beautiful looking game again, and I don't even know if they had a release date on this yet. It's supposed to be sometime this year.
This year.
Yeah.
This one is a release of they're at fall of 2016.
Yeah, so I am really looking forward to that again. You know, overall, the biggest thing for me at PAX this weekend, we went to Daedalus Entertainment.
Yes.
And I wasn't expecting much from them, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, we had an appointment to go see one game.
Yeah.
They had 5 on display there, and the one that we had gone to see, they were running behind on.
Yeah. So we watched a couple. We actually played a couple of others.
Yeah. Just the overall, the way the reps from that company tackled PAX, I was really impressed with.
Yeah, so we went in. We went to see The Long Journey Home, which we will talk about in just a little bit. And I'm really sad that Jeff's not with us tonight, because every moment we were playing this game, well, actually, we didn't play it. The guy demoed it to us.
Yeah.
Because it's not really ready to play yet. But every moment he was showing us The Long Journey Home, I'm thinking, Jeff is going to love this.
This is a Jeff game. This is a Jeff game.
This is a game for Jeff. I can't wait to tell Jeff about this game.
Yeah.
And now Jeff's not here tonight.
No, he's not here. So we'll probably discuss it a little bit next week as well.
Perhaps. Or we'll talk to him offline, because we don't want to bore our listeners with...
I did not agree to talk to Jeff outside of the podcast.
You did not. That is true. That is true.
I'm going to have to be paid extra for that.
We'll pay you double what you're getting paid now.
Perfect.
Okay. Does that mean you have to get 2 sets of steak knives?
You just agreed to 2 sets of steak knives.
I guess I did. Anyway, but the other 2 games we saw Air.
Yep.
Which if you want to check out some video of Air, check out our streams over the weekend. Wow. Another gorgeous game. It's flight. It's basically it's a woman who can transform into a bird, but it's puzzles. It's flying from one floating island to another. Totally kind of open world. You can kind of fly anywhere you want. And the other was Shadow Tactics, which we just talked about. And we went to Daedalic to get like one demo. Ended up seeing 3 out of their 5 and loving all 3 of them.
Yeah, and again, the way that they tackled PAX, to me, like the reps there, they were friendly. They were apologetic about the fact that we had to wait. They made sure that we had stuff to do. They were the only ones really giving out a big swag bag there too. Not that it was necessary, but
Yeah, I mean, their bag had a lot of like advertisements for their games in it. But
yeah,
what I thought was great is while we were waiting, they weren't just standing there; they were talking to us.
Yeah, and not just feeding us the PR bull that you can sometimes expect from that, but actually, generally sharing their excitement with being at PAX, because this was the first time that they'd been at a PAX as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was very impressed with how their reps handled the thing. I mean, we went to one developer that may or may not remain nameless, that didn't even bother to greet us when we arrived for an appointment.
Yeah, well, 2 actually.
Yeah,
because one we ended up walking away from.
Yes.
So yeah, there was one where we went. We had our demo. We were not impressed with the demo, but yeah, we didn't even meet our contact there. And another one, we went to an appointment to see a game, and we stood there for like 5-10 minutes watching someone else play the game, and no one even acknowledged we were there.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that these guys went out of their way, they chatted with us, they didn't, just say, okay, we'll just wait over there and so will talk to you. we played the first game they let us play was the Shadow Tactics, and afterwards they came over. It's like, hey, did you enjoy that? Like, we're going to get you over to this one in a second here, but what did you think of that? They really wanted to know what our opinion was. It was really nice, nice feeling to have from reps to sort of not just be going through the motions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had another similar experience actually with Fated: The Silent Oath.
Yeah.
Which was another game I was impressed with. So why don't we talk a little bit about that now, actually?
Yeah,
But the devs there, while we were waiting to get into our demo, there was a couple of devs, and they're from Quebec.
Yeah.
And we were just chatting with them, you know?
Yeah. They were just out, and they just came out. They were just chatting and talking to us about, a bit about their process, about what they were doing, but just generally about the show.
Yeah, and that's it makes it a little more personal.
Yeah,
that way.
I really enjoyed. I mean, I don't know if I'm sold on the game. I like the game. I don't know if I'm sold on the game.
So let's talk about what it is. So it's a VR game. We saw a lot of VR here this year. A lot of VR.
Is big, and that was one of the things I really wanted to see going in was what is VR going to be like? Are they going to sell me on the idea of getting VR, or like where am I going to be at after this show on VR? So,
well, where are you now with VR?
I am really interested in picking one up after the second price drop.
Okay, second price drop. So not even
the first one. The first price drop's like $50 because they're like, oh well, we'll drop it $50 and you can come grab it now, and that's not enough. I want like the $100 that they drop after that. That's when I'm probably in.
Fair. So
and there'll be a game out by then too, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a lot of games out, but the question is, upon release, are the games going to be worth playing? And a lot of the games we saw for VR were fun, like really fun. So the first one, one of the ones we saw was Fated: The Silent Oath. Now, my issue with Fated, while I am very interested in this game, it's going to be a puzzle story. It's going to be basically it's a story, couple of hours long. It's about a father basically protecting his family.
Norse lore, I think.
Yeah, and I don't like. My issue with the demo is they set up a fantastic floor demo.
It was awesome. So you're in your own private little room.
Yep.
They have a seat with like big wagon wheels attached to it.
Yes, because the
demo is you are it's a horse-drawn buggy that you're that you're driving in the demo. So they've got the whole thing. There's reins attached to the controller.
Yeah, they hand you reins. That's what you're controlling the game with, is actual horse reins.
Yeah, which was really, really cool. You're going through the demo and you're immersed in this thing, and you're looking around. You look down, you can see your hands holding the reins. You can see your shoulder when you glance over your shoulder and look behind you.
Yeah.
And they had it set up so perfectly. Like there's a point where you're going past a waterfall.
Yeah, this is the amazing thing.
They had like fans and misters set up, so it really like you're getting hit on the side of the face with
mist.
Water.
Yeah,
with mist, and it's like it really brings you into that environment. They did a fantastic job of doing that.
And eventually the demo goes faster, like you're racing with the range, you're going super fast, and they have
the wind blows more.
Machines blowing in your face to make it feel like you're actually moving. So, unfortunately the mist machine and the fans do not come with an ultimate edition of this game.
Yeah, like that's the problem. Like what is the home experience going to be? And like that game there, I really enjoyed playing that with the reins, holding like you're pulling left and right to control where your horse goes.
Yeah, for sure.
And in at home, that's left and right trigger on your controller, and I don't know if that's going to give me the same experience. Like I want some way to hook my controller up to something and attach some ropes to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can actually play like that. That's how that to me is that experience now. And if I have anything other than that experience with that game, I'm probably going to be disappointed.
But the thing with that, and you're right, that is the experience they gave us, which was super fun, almost like it's an amusement ride. Is you go in, you experience it, and you're done. But there is a game in there, and this was a small piece of the game. My issue was it did make me interested for the game, but I still don't know what the actual game is, because there's going to be puzzles.
I'd like to see some of the puzzle solving. Apparently it is the whole game is controlled left and right triggers.
Left and right trigger, that's it.
So I'm interested. But the other issue I have with it is I don't know how much that game costs.
I don't know how much it costs. As well, the VR portion of it is only what you're seeing, right? So there's no hand movements. They're not using Move controller, for example. So it's still you're still using a controller to play the game with left and right trigger. So the only thing that puts you in the game is the fact that you can look around, look behind you, and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
So,
Whereas,
and they mentioned too the length of that game, the entire length of that game. It is playing out like an epic movie,
yeah, like a
and it
2 hour
is
movie.
a 2 hour movie or 2 hour game.
Right.
For 2 hours, I'm not comfortable spending $60 for a 2 hour experience like that.
And I hope, or I don't expect it to be a $60 game, honestly.
Yeah, like 20, $30.
Maybe,
That would be
maybe
that's my
even,
threshold. Is maybe $30
I think
is making me
30
go
might be
a little.
pushing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
25. We'll call it 25, and we'll go from there.
Well, some of the other games, like we played, we talked about it on the weekend. And you can check out. I'm not sure if we showed video of my playing that data game. Was it Data?
Raw data.
Raw Data.
I don't think we had video of that because our videographer had not arrived yet.
Oh,
'Cause
right.
we did that during the media
Well,
hour.
no, we do have video, but I don't think we showed it on the weekend, and unfortunately,
Right,
I don't
'cause
have it ready to show you right now. But that's another game where, you know, it literally puts you in the game. So this was using the HTC Vive, and I
Yes.
had the HTC Vive controllers in my hand, and it literally felt like I was in the game. Like I could pick up a gun and I could twist my hand in front of my face and look at the gun in all three dimensions as if I was physically holding it.
Yeah.
And the game responded to me in real time like that. So to me, that's what VR is. The other one is a game called Blind, in which you play a blind girl walking through this house. You wake up in this house, you don't know where you are, and you have to figure out how to get out. And we do have video, so if you're listening to the audio stream, you might want to check out our YouTube stream here as well, because there's video of my playing the game, and you can see how what I'm doing in the real world is translating perfectly in the game, and it
Yeah.
really felt like I was there. The only
Yeah, like
downfall
some
to
of the really interesting things. I mean, I remember watching you play this, and you dropped something that you were interacting with,
yes,
and you would, like, I'm standing beside you in a packed showroom floor, and you're bending down to the ground to pick stuff up.
yes, because
And
I
it just-
literally had to reach for it.
Yeah, you literally had to reach down, like you actually had to bend down to pick this up. And like, I mean, it was just really neat how much immersion there is in this game. This game here, there was another one very similar to this one on the floor called Perception, I believe, which is there's a similar concept with a blind, but it's
Yes.
just a controller game.
Yeah, and that's the one I actually kickstarted on. I kickstarted it on Kickstarter a lot, like
Yeah.
last year sometime. So it's nice
Yeah.
to see that finally coming.
That was the one with the creepy girl, right?
Yes, yes, the creepy model. They had outside perception. Is it perception? It might be.
Perception, yeah.
They had this woman dressed up. She had blue face, cracked like a porcelain doll, right?
Yeah.
And she's just standing there. I honestly,
Motionless.
when I first saw her, I honestly thought it was just a mannequin. But
Yeah,
she was
as
alive.
did I.
And we walked by, and her eyes followed us, and it was
Yeah.
the most creepy. It was so well done, though.
Yeah,
You know,
she did a great job.
we
And we
ended up-
chatted with her afterwards on the last day, too.
Yeah, and she was, you know, she was kind enough to do a video for us. I took pictures and she did a video, but maybe next week we'll show that video.
Yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, I mean, playing Blind, it really put me in the game. Now, the only downfall to Blind I found was that you had to use the left and right triggers to turn your body 30 degrees in the game, and you had to use the left thumbstick to move. So it only moves forward, and it doesn't turn if you turn your head, it doesn't follow your head moving. I'd rather, if I'm walking and I want to turn, I'd rather turn my head and point to where I want to walk. It
Yeah.
would make it feel more natural, right? And if I want to look around, I need to stop moving. Right?
Yeah.
To me, that would make more sense. But just the action of being able to reach and grab things in real time and pick up objects and look at them, like I'm seriously blown away at how amazing these VR units are.
So are you sold on picking up one of these at launch?
I think I'm sold on pre-ordering the PlayStation VR. I can't afford something like the Vive or the Oculus Rift. And most of the games we saw will be available for PlayStation.
Yes. Yeah, PlayStation is it a US price point of $399?
I'm not sure, but I think so.
Yeah, as compared to $850
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Oculus. So,
Much different.
and actually, I got a chance on, and I think you did as well for SwingStar. We tried that with the Samsung Gear VR.
The Gear VR, yeah. So we experienced Gear VR a little bit. Fun
I
little
was
game,
I was impressed with what they can do with basically popping a cell phone into a pair of glasses like that.
right? It was
And
amazing.
that was a fun game, and I think they said on the Gear VR it's like $299 or something like
Super
that.
cheap game. Really simple concept too. You basically are a kid with a bungee cord strapped to your head with a
Well,
big
that's
hand
an
on
extra
it.
hand. That's an
It's-
extra hand. You have a hand growing out of your
You have a
head.
hand growing out
There's
of your
something
head.
horribly wrong with you, and
You are in the air, literally swinging from one object. You have to grab an object, and the way you grab an object is you look at it in VR. You aim at it and you look at it, and then you press a button and hold. And he grabs it. He swings down like a bungee cord. Come
so
back
you
up.
release the button.
You let go, and he flies toward. And then you look to where you want to grab on next, and then press
It
the
is
button.
it's basically a bionic commando type of situation,
And it's
but in
super
VR.
fun. Super fun.
I had fun with that, and when she explained what they're doing for their boss battles, as they develop further, I was really excited. She said they're going to be doing something along the lines of Shadow of Colossus.
Wow.
So you're going to use that mechanic to climb a giant colossus and pull pieces out of him.
That's
to
going to be
defeat him.
epic.
Yeah, like that for $299. I mean, I don't have one. Like I said, when second price drop, I'm going to play that game.
Well, or get a Gear VR and get yourself a Samsung phone.
Yeah, I could probably do that too.
Yeah. Okay, so I think a couple more games we want to talk about from PAX East, and specifically The Long Journey Home. This is a
Yes.
game I wish Jeff was here. Another fantastic game. It is a space game.
Yes.
And you are essentially lost in space. You're Gilligan's Island in space. You've gone on a 3-hour tour. They didn't say 3 hours, but it is a tour. Then you end up
They said
lost
3-hour
in-
tour without saying 3-hour tour.
I added that in, but yes,
Yes.
it's Gilligan's Island in space. You are in this massive, procedurally generated world, universe, actually,
Yeah.
with multiple galaxies in the universe. You are on the farthest end of the galaxy from Earth, and you have to figure out how to get from system to system, from galaxy to galaxy, to make your way across the universe to get back home.
Yeah.
And to do that, when you start the game, you have to choose 4 characters that you're going to have on your ship. It could be an engineer, a pilot. There's like apparently 10, I think 10
You have
different
10
people to choose from.
Yeah.
So you have to decide, because those are the only characters you're going to have while you play this game.
Yeah. They all die. You're done.
It's game over. Exactly. You have to keep them alive. There are quests to do. You are
Yeah.
flying in. It's a 2-dimensional space, so it's not 3D.
And there's
space.
choices too. Like there's choices you have to make.
Lots
So
of choices.
your choice of who you're going to pick is going to be very important because, if you pick a doctor, for example, your doctor's going to be able to help you heal
Right.
and
But
stuff
if you
like
don't
that.
have a doctor,
Yeah.
right? Or he said one time there was like if you pick up an object, you find an object on a planet.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a scientist who can analyze it. Maybe you don't. So you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you have to go and find somebody in the universe who does know what it is. And there's going to be alliances created with alien races. You could have rivalries.
really upset somebody like by picking up that thing. That could be a hugely significant religious object for
Right.
that species.
Yep.
And you could be like, hey, I found this thing over on that planet over there. What do you think it is? It's like, oh, you shouldn't have touched that. That's really bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And that could affect you, affect your relationship with them. I mean, you had a huge decision to make. Well, you made it very quickly.
I made a very, very, very quick decision on that. So we had brought an alien on board who said he was a diplomat and he needed to get back home. So we took him on board. The crew didn't trust him. They thought he was lying. And then this warship with a whole bunch of other ships surround us and say, "You have a criminal on board. He's a con artist. If you give him to us, we'll let you go." And I'm like, "Let him go. Just get
It's
rid of him."
immediate. Not even a second thought.
No.
Just no.
He's
gone.
My crew didn't like him anyway. He was a con artist. I'm like, I believe that. He's a con artist. Give it to the guy. And then the developer said, actually, the people you just gave him to are slavers.
Yes. So Sean,
Well, you know,
I'm lucky I made it back from PAX. Let's put it that way. I mean, if we'd hit the wrong rest stop on the way home, he could have
gone.
traded me to a McDonald's for an extra thing of fries.
Well, our trip was definitely brought to us by McDonald's.
Yeah. If anybody's ever been on the I-93, every stop is a McDonald's stop.
On the way there and on the way back, it was something else.
No, it was
except-
McDonald's as soon as we got out of Boston.
that's-
In the Boston area, it was Boston Market for like 2 stops.
Yeah,
And I was
that's
all
true.
excited that when we stopped for something to eat, it was going to be Boston Market instead of McDonald's on the way back.
It was McDonald's.
And then it was McDonald's because we passed all the Boston
Yeah,
Markets.
exactly. So we are about halfway through the show now. Tycko, any other games that really stood out to you from this weekend?
The one that I really absolutely loved, and I'm very surprised, I didn't think this was going to be one that was going to draw me in. I think it was one of the first appointments we actually booked, was a game called Blade Ballet. It was just a fun game. What was that game? The Robot Wars, BattleBots.
Yes. Yeah, it's like a BattleBots.
Yeah, it is. I think it's up to 4 player.
Yes.
And you pick a bot, and you have blades, and you basically you have a D-pad control, so around the map, and then your left and right bumpers basically spin you in either direction.
And you have a charge attack, right? You got a couple of things. You can jump, and it just drops the 4 of you into an arena.
Yeah.
There's many different arenas and some of those arenas have dangers in them to begin with as well.
Yeah.
So you're not only
last
trying
man
to
standing.
It's last man
wins.
standing, but you also have to stay away from the dangers as well as the other players. And it was like super fun. Couch co-op up to 4 players.
Yeah.
Really fun. Like I was honestly surprised at how much fun this game was.
And each robot had its own set of moves and its own its own physics, its own way of moving as well. Like you could pick this big clunky guys, and they were a little slower. You had these fast guys that had like a whole bunch of lasers and stuff that popped out of them when they did their special attack.
Yeah.
Like you have to master each one individually. It was really cool the way it was put together.
It was really, really impressive. Any others that you that stand out to you?
Mikazu, the one you pronounce Mekazu,
Mekazu, because they are
but
mechanized.
it's not spelt that way.
It doesn't matter.
Mekazoo.
Well, if it was meek, it'd be Meek. Learn how
So-
to speak English.
Mekazu. It's not mech.
It's
Either
MEK.
way.
It's mech.
I had fun with that one. It felt like Ori and the Blind Forest mixed with Sonic,
Yes. Oh, absolutely. For sure.
with a fun co-op mechanic. We played co-op. We played a 2-player game, and there is an armadillo character and a frog character, but only one of them is on screen at a time. And there is a steel control button, so the armadillo will have to do his charge up roll attack to jump up a hill, and then the other player will have to steal control,
Yep.
turn into the frog, and grab a grapple point with their tongue.
Yeah.
And so you have to really work together because you are figuring, okay, like you have to go up this way, then I have to grab this and swing, and then you have to switch back to the armadillo in order to hit the next part.
And that's the interesting thing about this. While it's a co-op game, there is only one character on screen. You are
Right.
both controlling that character, each taking a different form. And when you die, it confused us because then it switched us.
It switched our characters.
I became the frog and you were the armadillo.
Yeah.
And like, wait a minute, what's going on?
And it switches back and forth each time you die.
Yeah.
But it was really fun, and it was a really unique way to do co-op.
Yes.
Because you have to work and communicate with the person you're playing with. Because if you're not talking through that, like we didn't, you're going to die a lot.
Yeah, well, we kept stealing control away from each
It's
other.
like, no, it's my turn. I want to play for a bit. And that's usually what you do in these sort of, like Mario's like, oh, I stole all your lives, that sort of thing. But you have to work together in order to make sure, like, I'm going to go up here. At this point, you're going to switch over, and you really have to work together in order to make that work.
Yeah, for sure.
That one there is going to be fun. I believe that's a console release coming pretty soon, actually.
Pretty soon, yeah. I mean, there was a ton of great games. We covered a lot of it on our day in review videos. So, check out our YouTube channel at bit.ly/the OMG hour and, see what we saw. We talked about almost everything we saw over the weekend, and it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
I've never had a bad PAX East. It's been a
Yeah,
fun weekend.
and in saying that, I think that we do have to give a shout out to Brian.
Thank you. I was just going to do that.
Well,
Go
then
for
fine,
it.
go right ahead.
Go. No.
No, I wanted to, I just wanted to say, like, Brian and Ann, our hosts for the weekend, were fantastic. I have stayed with family that has not treated me as well as they did.
It's always a good weekend.
Breakfast, cookies every night.
Homemade cookies every night.
Homemade cookies every night.
Yes.
It was fantastic. Like,
And-
I probably gained the 10 pounds, but
And Coke Cherry Zero is
Coke Cherries-
always waiting for me when I arrive.
yeah. So just a big thank you to Brian and Ann for putting up with us and hosting us. Absolutely fantastic people. I'm really glad to have gotten a chance to meet them, and look forward to seeing them again next year.
Absolutely. Huge thank you to Brian, Juggler of Geese on Twitter. I think most of you know him. So thank you. And with that, we do have a lost treasure for you. So let's move on.
Lost treasures with your gaming archaeologist, Sid Bolton.
Puzzle games offer a chance to take a breather in a world full of first-person shooters and other action games. While some puzzle games can be a snooze fest, some provide a great atmosphere mixed with some unique puzzles and innovative gameplay. Such is the case with Contrast, a Canadian-made game out of Montreal that released in 2013 that is now available for the Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Steam, and even the Nvidia Shield. Contrast has a noir atmosphere set in the 1920s. You control Dawn, an imaginary friend of a young girl named Dee Dee who seems well-adjusted and downright smart, even if her family life needs some work. Built on the Unreal Engine, Contrast's main gameplay element is the fact that Dawn can move in and out of the shadows, using the environment around her to move around and advance into new areas or collect certain items to complete other tasks. There are definitely elements of collecting items in this game, but the good news is that for the most part it is optional, although some items are required to advance the gameplay. It makes playing the game through a second time more enjoyable, as you may take your time to discover more and more secrets. The game features moments that will remind you of Limbo and other games, and features an amazing voice cast including Elias Toufexis, who you might recognize as Adam Jensen from Deus Ex. It's a game worth experiencing, and if you haven't yet, now is the time to look it up. Until next time, I'm Sid Bolton, your gaming archaeologist, digging up the lost treasures for you, right here on OMG Nexus and the OMG Hour.
So that is, I believe, that was a launch title on the PS4, if I remember correctly. And you know what, I wasn't overly impressed with Contrast, but I did finish it. I ended up really enjoying it. I liked the story, and I completed it. I got the full, I don't even know if it was a 1,000-point achievement or just your typical 200, but...
That was 1,000. I know that's been released on the Xbox One as well.
Yes, it has, yeah. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, it wasn't super difficult, but it was a really great concept, jumping in and out of shadows. So if you have not played Contrast, you should definitely give it a shot. Did you play it at all, Tycko?
I did. I think I'm probably around the second or third chapter in that, and enjoyed it. I haven't finished it.
Yeah. There are a lot of collectibles, and but they're not super hard to find, and I managed to complete the whole game. Unfortunately, it's not a game that once you finish it, it's worth playing again, though. Like, it doesn't have a lot of replay value.
It's not super expensive either. I think you can pick it up for about 15 bucks.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, let's move on to the stuff we like to talk about.
OMG.
All right. Well, this first thing is a couple of weeks old now, because I actually saw this before we went to PAX. And this is about, I've always wondered what GameStop was going to do as we continually progress toward digital entertainment, like digital downloads, people not buying physical copies of games. I know a lot of people still like to buy physical games, and I prefer to download everything. It's less to things to put on my shelf back here. And so GameStop is now going to start publishing games under a Game Trust brand. So they're going to, I believe what it's saying is they're going to start looking at publishing indie developed games and give indie developers shelf space where they normally wouldn't have shelf space.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't either.
I mean, we both worked for EB, so
Yeah.
Um,
Over the last couple of years, we've slowly seen EB turn into like a toy central, video game toy central,
yeah.
right?
Like the actual amount of games that they carry, and that's I'm concerned about if they're publishing a game, what that's going to mean for that title. Are they going to tack, a couple of dollars onto that just because they need to make some more money off of it? Which means, is that going to affect the digital release as well? And like, is this going to hurt some of these indies that they're going to end up doing some work with more than it's going to help? That's my concern.
Well, as a publisher, it's always nice to have a publisher, I think. From an indie point of view, a publisher typically will give you money to help complete the game. Right?
Yes.
And then, of course, for every sale, they take their cut right off the top. So it's going to be good for an indie who needs an influx of money.
Yeah, and if that's all they do, great. But if they start getting, well, you can release it, but you can't release the digital version for 3 months until after we've had it on our shelves for a certain. Like, that's the thing I'm concerned about, is that they're going to start, like, oh, this is an EB exclusive for the first 3 months.
Right.
You have to buy the disc version of this. If they're trying to keep people coming into their store, that sort of thing. That's my concern. Is, does it hurt some indies because people just go, okay, well, I'm not going to play that then.
Yeah, I hear you. No, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if they're I'm not going to say that they're doing that. I don't know if they're going to do that. It's just my experience, having worked there before, leads me to think that they may have that sort of a mindset.
Yeah, the other thing too, though, is as we start moving towards the digital-only medium, they want to start putting things on the shelf. But isn't that kind of moving backwards? I don't know.
Well, they need something on their shelves.
Unless they sell codes, it's just more for getting them on the shelf, but you're not actually buying a game on a disc, you're buying a code for the game to download. So it's just sort of advertising. It gets the name out there, because a lot of indie titles you have to find through word of mouth, through Steam sale, whatever.
Also
maybe podcasts, yeah. Whereas this will get like those people who maybe don't go there, right?
That's true. I mean, it might get them some more customers that wouldn't normally have heard of their stuff. I have a fear of how EB is going to handle some of these little guys.
Yeah, I hear you for sure. All right, well, this next one, we got news this week about more information about Nintendo NX, but sort of like not more information at the same time. So we got news that they're going to launch in March of 2017.
Yes.
That's all we know.
That's it. We have a date. A month.
We have a month. They're not going to show it off at E3 this year. The only thing they're going to show off at E3 is the new Zelda game, which will be released for Wii U as well as the NX at the same time.
They've done this once before with the Zelda game too.
But why tell me that now?
You should be thanking them, because at least look, I'm not going to bother buying this on the Wii U because I'll just wait for it with the NX, so I have a game to play with the NX at least.
That's my point. Like
they're cannibalizing their own sales by putting that information out.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. I mean, unless you don't buy the new NX.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, why are they not coming to E3? Why not tell us more about what is the NX?
Yeah.
Like, don't just tell me it's coming in March and tell me you're not going to be at E3. Tell me what it is. I don't care if you don't have the box. I don't care if it's not designed yet. I want to know what it is.
Is it a handheld? Is it a console? Is it
both? Is it both? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
I just want to know what it is. And this, to me, is just like, it's going to be out in March. Okay, but what is it? Yeah. Don't tell me that it's coming in March when you still haven't even told us what it is, and you're not going to tell us what it is until after E3.
Yeah, I'm not running out until somebody tells me what it is. I'm not going to come anywhere close to pre-ordering it.
And we're talking March. That's less than a year before launch. This is about the time, if not earlier than this, that we know about new consoles. Like when? How far in the before launch did we know about Xbox One? It was at least a year.
Oh yeah, like we
Right?
knew what it was. We'd seen some gameplay. We'd seen some mock-ups of what the box was going to look like, the controller was going to look like.
We knew what it was going to be long before
And even
we saw
even
it.
if it was wrong, I mean, Sony put out that ridiculous boomerang controller prototype that they showed us that ages before, and we saw it. We go, well, that's a stupid controller, but okay. Everybody was fine with that. Like at least we saw it and we knew what we were to expect with what was coming.
I don't know if that was PlayStation that did that, but there were definitely rumors. There's been rumors of what the
no,
NX
they
is.
there was a prototype of that boomerang at
For
one
real?
of the shows. Yeah,
and,
that was
and
out
that
on,
was from Sony themselves.
that was from Sony themselves. It was at their booth. They had that as a prototype. Obviously, people said it looked ridiculous, and they changed it to what we have now,
Which is way better.
Yeah, but that boomerang controller was put out there by Sony.
Well, I'm just, what? It just upsets me that Nintendo comes out and thinks that we're okay with just, it'll be out in March, but we're not telling you anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's not okay.
No, I want to see what it is. I want to see what is it a next gen console? Is it a new color for the Wii U? Is that what they're doing?
Is it VR? Is it like what?
Yeah.
What is it could be anything. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, like give me something. Give me some more information.
Yeah. Well,
You want my money, then I want information.
exactly. Well, PlayStation gave us information at least. We know a little bit more about what PS 4.5 is going to be, their 4K model.
Yes.
And this is essentially, they're going to upgrade the GPU and the CPU. They're going to make it faster. They're going to allow 4K. The nice thing about this is that it doesn't matter which PlayStation 4 you have, whether you have the original or you have the 4.5 with 4K. What will happen is games developers will then have, I guess, two versions of the game on the same disc. So if you happen to have a 4K console with a 4K TV,
That's
it will
the one
play,
it'll play.
the 4K version of the game with, that can utilize the faster processor, the faster graphics card. If you don't, it will play the original version. I kind of wonder, though, with some of these larger games, if there's enough room on a single disc to do that, or will we find that some
back into
games release two discs, one for 4K, one for not?
It's going to be a scary situation to start seeing 2 and 3 disc games again.
Yeah, in this day and age, or even the downloadable. Maybe you have to download the non 4K version so it's smaller, because I can imagine the 4K version being double the size.
Everything's
or more.
downloaded nowadays too. Like when you put the disc in, a lot of
true.
times it is downloaded immediately. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the unlock code for both versions of the game will be on the disc. So you pop it in and it'll be like, oh, well, go to the store and download this.
Yeah, or which one do you want? Or it'll detect which console you have.
Yeah.
And down. So I certainly hope the PS 4.5 releases with like a 4 or 5 terabyte hard drive. Like, come on. You're going to need way more storage.
I need more storage for my Xbox right now.
The only thing I really want from a PS4 Redux is more USB ports and external hard drive support.
Yeah.
I still think it's ridiculous. There's only 2 USB ports, and they're both on the front of the unit. That is just a misstep, in my opinion.
Yeah, they need some more peripheral support there.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. All right. Let's move on to the games with gold for May.
Yes, we were fortunate that they were both announced just the other day for both PlayStation and Xbox, so we actually know what's coming.
Yes.
Of course, we're in a spot for me again where I own all of these.
I don't know. I'm going to say right now, this is a sad list of games.
I'm looking at this list, and a couple of the games, so we've got from May 1st to May 31st on the Xbox One, you have Defense Grid 2, which is a fun game.
It's a tower defense game.
Yeah, it's a fun tower defense game.
It is.
It's about $15 value or so. I don't necessarily it's not the AAA title that you'd be hoping for in this scenario.
It's still not Rise, Son of Rome. I'm just saying.
No, and they'll eventually hopefully give us that. If somebody's listening, we want Rise, Son of Rome on here at some point. Costume Quest 2 is May 16th to June 15th.
Have you played this game?
I actually have played this. I played both the Costume Quest 1 and it's a great game. It's a fun RPG. It really is. It looks very kiddie. You basically it's Halloween and you are out trick or treating. It is a turn-based RPG. So you wander around.
I love turn-based. So it's sort of South Park-ish type.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very, very soon. So based off of the costume that you're wearing, and you find different costume parts. There's 3 parts to each costume. You find different costume parts, and you build costumes. So you could be, a superhero or a wizard. You have to find all the pieces of the costume. That's what you enter battle as, is what your costume is.
So your costume gives you your powers.
Your costume gives you your powers. You're in a group of 3 usually, so you'll be facing off these monsters, and it's like, well, I'm the wizard, so I have a lightning bolt, and so you pick lightning bolt and heal, and there's one of the characters is candy corn, which is just nothing but defense. So just a big piece of candy corn.
Nice.
It's the humor in it's really fun. It's quite a good game actually.
So this sounds like it's definitely worth downloading.
It's absolutely worth downloading. If
I've
you've
never
not
played it.
If you like those turn-based RPGs like South Park and stuff like that, you will enjoy this game.
I loved South Park, Stick of Truth.
Yeah. You will enjoy. It's not quite as obviously dirty as South Park, but
I cannot wait for South Park: The Cracked But Whole. Is it that right? The Cracked, but yeah,
cracked
like
but
that.
whole.
Yeah, the cracked
but whole.
We all get it.
Yes. Yes, which is a superhero themed one, which is coming soon.
Okay, and then what do we get for Xbox
on your
360?
backwards compatible Xbox 360 titles? May 1st through 15th is Grid 2, which is a racing title.
I think I owned this for $2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I own this as well, or I've never played it.
And I've never played it. No, I definitely own it. I'm pretty sure I bought it for $2, but I've never played it. It's just one of those kind of wasted, you just purchase something because $2. It's awesome. I'll buy it for $2.
It's one of those and this is one of those games. It's like, well, Need for Speed did really well. Let's throw as many racing titles out there as we can right now.
Yeah.
Like, give me Burnout again. I want
Need
Burnout.
for Speed didn't do well. The new Need for Speed?
Not the new one. One of them did well.
Okay, yeah, I'd say several of them did well, but
yeah, like give me Burnout. Put Burnout on backwards compatibility, and then throw that in for free. That's
like
what I want.
Burnout Paradise.
Burnout Paradise. That is the game I want.
I
will take. I'll settle for Split Second, which was
that was also awesome. Or Blur. Blur's never coming because they're out of business, that company.
Yeah.
But Blur was awesome. Split Second was so much fun.
I loved Split Second. It was a fun game.
How about going away from racing? We need Red Dead Redemption in here, backwards compatible.
Yeah, which there were rumors of. It actually popped up.
Yes, that's right.
At one point, it did pop up for some people on their thing, and then it was pulled very quickly. So it was up there by accident. So hopefully that means it's coming soon. There was also some, which is, I don't think it's in our news. A few weeks ago, there was some leaked footage of a Red Dead prequel.
Oh.
Did you not see this, Sean?
No, I didn't see this.
That explains why it's not in the show notes. There was, it's nothing's confirmed, obviously, but there was some leaked content indicating that there is a new Red Dead being worked on that will be announced at E3. That is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, I think.
So it's between Red Dead Revolver and Red Dead Redemption?
I believe so, yes.
Let's see what I can find. Red Dead Redemption 2 to be unveiled at E3 is pretty much what it's saying here. Cool. I'm excited. I know Jeff will be excited for that.
Yeah, like that. I'm looking for that. I'll be honest with you. I'm happy with just put it on backwards compatibility.
Red Dead Revenge seems to be maybe the title for it. I don't know if that's official or not.
It's a Red Dead something.
Red Dead something, for sure.
Yeah. And then the last game that we've got, May 16th to May 31st, will be the Xbox 360 backwards compatible version of Peggle.
Who doesn't own Peggle?
I own Peggle 16 different places now.
Exactly. I mean,
And they gave this to me when I bought Peggle 2. They're like, "Oh, here's you know, thanks for buying Peggle. Here's a code for Peggle 1." I'm
yeah,
like,
that's right.
I already
isn't
own
even,
Peggle 1.
This isn't even Peggle 2. This is Peggle.
Now, fantastic game. Absolutely
Yes.
fantastic game.
But who doesn't already own it?
If you don't own it on at least 3 devices already,
then you're not a gamer. Get off this show. I'm just kidding.
We
stay.
can't afford to lose any listeners or viewers here.
Then you can get it for free, and you can correct the error that is you're not owning Peggle.
Yes.
You owe it to yourself to own Peggle.
Yeah, at least on one device.
So go get it, just not right now.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that is your offering from Xbox.
Okay.
Almost
impressed?
all of these.
Impressed? Not impressed? What?
Again, I own all of these. So like, you want to impress me? Throw something on there that I can actually take advantage of.
Rise, Son of Rome.
Rise, Son of Rome.
That's all I want.
I will accept Burnout Paradise as a thing, even though I already own it. I'll accept it on here as well because it means it's backwards compatible.
Well, that means you can then download it onto your Xbox One.
Exactly. So I will accept that as well. So, but give me something that I like it when they introduce brand new titles, like a new title, and it's like, hey, this is coming out this day, free for the first 2 weeks on this. That's what I like when they do.
You know, I wonder if games
I can play it.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if games like Burnout Paradise are not available yet because of all the network connectivity it needed for it. Because it's a multiplayer, and I wonder if it takes a little bit more time to code that over to the Xbox One.
It could be,
but I have no idea.
It could be that they're working on a remaster as well. A lot of games coming out as remaster, up-resed versions. Well, we were at PAX. They announced the Batman collection with Arkham City and Arkham Asylum coming out in June.
Yeah, that's true.
As a remaster. Dead Island coming out at the end of May as a remaster. So there's a lot of these things coming. So maybe they're remastering Burnout Paradise for a re-release. There's rumors the other day of a Call of Duty Modern
Call of Duty
Warfare
4.
Yeah,
Redux,
Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Redux as well. Like there's a lot of talks of just reduxing old games. So maybe that's why we're not seeing Burnout Paradise. I'd be fine with that too, but just put it out there so I can play it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and finally, before we end the show tonight, we do have the list of games for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, so that way we can compare.
We can compare. So on PlayStation 4, we're going to get Tabletop Racing World Tour.
Never heard of it.
We're going to get Tropico 5.
I have heard of it.
Which is not a great game. It's a city builder, like an island builder management sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
For PS4 and Vita, you're going to get Switch Galaxy Ultra.
I have never heard of it.
Never heard of that one either. So 3 games we've never heard of.
But that's at least good. If I haven't heard of it, it means I haven't played it. So I at least give them credit for putting something out there that I don't already own.
Fair. For PS3, if you still have one, Bionic Commando Rearmed 2.
That was not a game, but...
and Loco Roco Corico? Corico?
Coco Roco Rica Coco. Just say it really fast.
Sure, okay.
Coco Recocho. I don't know. That's we're saying it wrong. So.
And finally, on PSP, we're going to be getting God of War: Ghost of Sparta, also playable on the PSP. Did I say PSP or PS Vita?
PSP. PSP, and also playable on the Vita.
On the Vita. So they're giving us a free PSP game. Actually, that's pretty impressive.
Well, I think it originally launched on the PSP. That's why.
Yeah, it did.
Does a PSP actually work with their store still?
I still have a PSP, but I have no idea. It must. It has to.
I think I have one somewhere.
Well, it has to, right? If they're giving it to you for free.
Well, or maybe they're just telling you that it's for the PSP and it will be playable on your Vita.
Maybe. Yeah. You could be right.
Like it was originally out for this system here, but you can only play it if you have a Vita.
Yeah. Well, that is pretty much it for episode number 201.
We have to judge who wins.
Oh, we do have to judge.
We have to judge
based on that list. After reading through PS4, I think Xbox wins.
I like the game. Like again, there's a couple of these I don't know, but I'm not excited about them. I mean, for me personally, they have the PlayStation has stuff that I could play that I don't have, but I like the games that I recognize better on the Xbox.
Agreed. The games on PS4 actually don't interest me.
Yeah.
I am judging books by their name.
Yes, get better names or some screenshots or something attached to it to draw our interest.
Or I'm not interested. Yeah.
Yeah. Sean's easily out.
That's right. I judge things real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, now can we go?
Yes, please.
Okay. For those of you listening, thank you so much for listening to us. For those of you watching, stick around. We're going to chat with you after we're done the show. So stick around afterwards.
We're going to attempt to at least.
We're gonna try. We'll see how this goes. So thank you everybody for listening. Of course, you can follow the show at OMG Nexus. Feedback and questions you can send us to the OMG Hour at gmail.com. Rate us on iTunes. Help us become a featured podcast. Thank you to Sid Bolton, our gaming archaeologist on Twitter. He is at Sid Bolton. Of course, if you're listening to our audio, don't forget to look us up on YouTube. And don't forget to listen to Lost Treasures of Gaming, where Sid and myself dig up treasures from gaming's past. I am Zion everywhere. Like us and subscribe on YouTube. Help us get some more subscribers there, which would be awesome. And check out our friends over at the Open Forum Radio Network at openforumradio.com.
I'm just going to wait for Jeff to do his part. Oh, wait, he didn't show.
Jeff's not here.
No, Jeff's not here. But you can follow Jeff at Sinix, SINNIX. You can follow me at Mr. Second Place on Twitter. For game reviews and show notes, you can check those out at omgnexus.com. You can follow that on Twitter at omgnexus. And you can follow this show at the OMG Hour. That's
right. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week. This has been an OMGNexus.com production.